morning everyone, this is Trisha and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I put together this wreath. So last night my mother-in-law called and asked, do you have a wreath for my front door? So I told her, I don't have anything, but I can certainly make you something. So this is a last minute creation. She really wanted something with some red poinsettia, something Christmassy. I don't have any new poinsettias. Everything I have is old, and I didn't want to give her anything that was already old or crushed or way too dusty. So I told her, you know what, I'm going to make you something, and I'm pretty sure she's going to like it. She's always very grateful for whatever I give her, and this is something that I think that she will like. So this is what I put together. I'm going to show you how I did it with some items that I happen to have. So let's get to crafting. Alright, so to create the base of my wreath, I'm going to be using the styrofoam pool noodle. I grabbed mine from the Dollar Tree, but you can find these in a lot of different places for, you know, different prices. They're not very expensive, but they certainly are cheaper than buying a wreath form. Now, if you can use wreath form, then by all means go ahead and use a styrofoam wreath form. I'm going to be using this pool noodle. I have been playing with it, you know, kind of, you know, getting it to go a little bit rounder, just trying to shape it and get it used to in some spots. So I've been kind of doing that with it. So you want to do that. I'm going to go ahead and take this sticker off of it. All right, so to bring it together, I'm actually going to be using some hot glue to put it together end to end, and then I'll just hold it for a little while, and then I'm actually going to put some tape on it. All right, so I have my hot glue gun ready here, and then I grabbed this clear Gorilla Glue tape, but you can use like a duct tape or masking tape, whatever you happen to have on hand. We just really want it just to hold it. It doesn't have to be like, you know, a super expensive tape or anything like that. So anyway, I've grabbed this one, and I'm going to take the ends together here, and on one of these ends I'm going to put enough hot glue. Now keep in mind that some of this hot glue can eat into the styrofoam, so don't be surprised if you see that happening. Okay, put these together end to end, and I'm just going to hold them for a while just so that hot glue decides to cool off, and hopefully this doesn't come apart. All right, since this is taking a little long for it to dry, I'm going to go ahead and put some of this tape on here. And I need to grab some scissors to go ahead and cut this. But I'm going to go ahead and put this tape on here. I think this will help me. I don't have to be standing here holding it. But it did help a little bit to add a little bit of that glue. Now, you might be able to just skip putting the hot glue and just putting the tape on there. So that's going to be up to you. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and cut this tape off of here. But we can see here that, you know, it's holding it pretty good. So I'm going to leave it alone, cut this off, and then we'll be back to decorate this. All right, so I want to use this decorative mesh to decorate my wreath, and I don't know how much I need exactly because this is the first time that I use one of these pool noodles, and it is kind of big. I'm thinking maybe the diameter of this might be about 20 inches. It's not quite 24, so it's either between 18 or 20 inches. But anyway, I've got this deco mesh that I bought from Hobby Lobby. This is 10 yards. It's still completely full. I want to use that one first, and then I have a little bit of white that I'm pretty sure I got there as well. But as you can see, it's already been used. It's already started, so I want to use a little bit of that in there. And then I happen to have these two little rolls, which are 5 yards each. So altogether I have another 10 yards of mesh, and these were from the Dollar Tree. So as you can see, you can grab your mesh from wherever you like. I'm going to start with this red one first, and I'm just going to make little bundles that I can just kind of stick into it. Now I've got these greenery pins here, and I got tons of them. So that's what I'm going to be using to stick these mesh into the styrofoam. See, it goes in there really easily, so I want to use that. So I'm not going to be using any chenille stems, but you can go ahead and make all your little curlicues using chenille stems, and then, you know, using these to poke them into the styrofoam wreath. All right, so I'm going to be cutting pieces that are about 6 inches tall, or long actually, and just cut quite a few of these. I'm probably going to use this whole roll, and then maybe I'll have to use the ones from the Dollar Tree as well. And of course I'll let you know what I ended up using. But I'm just going to cut a bunch of these and try to get them, about the same size. And then I'm just going to roll them up like that and use the greenery pins that I just showed you and slide that between there just like that. Grab this and then just stick them in there. Super simple. And I'll be just cutting them like that. I don't need to curl them yet. I'll curl them as I'm putting them on, so I don't have to be worrying about curling them, because like I said, I'm not using any chenille stems, but you can go ahead and tie them up with chenille stems if you want. Make all your little bundles and then start sticking them on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that as is. Roll them up. No chenille, no other wire. And just start sticking them in there. I'm going to go one in the middle and then on the sides, middle, sides, and just kind of work my way around and then start filling in the little spaces. And then if I need to, I'll hit these, and then of course I'll add some of this. All right, so I wanted to update you and show you how much those 5 yards of mesh did. It didn't go all the way, but I didn't really want to go all the way. I wanted to leave a space here because I'm going to put a bow in here, and if I fill it all the way up and then put a bow, I'm just going to cover everything underneath. So I tend to like to leave a space for my bow. But look, all this other space that I still have left of this particular one. Now, the one from Dollar Tree does resemble it a little bit. This is a little darker red. So I don't want to continue using a little bit of that here. I'm going to go ahead and leave this space blank because I do have something that I can fill it up with and give this wreath a little different look. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the other 10 yards of this other mesh, and I'm going to fill in between, the little spaces here, okay? So just to give you an idea, if you want to go ahead and fill it all the way up, you're going to need more than, what I have here is 20 yards. I'm thinking that you might need 30, maybe even 40 yards to completely fill it up if you want it like super full, all right? All right, so I also wanted to point out something about this foam. It's really nice. Everything's holding up really well, and I can easily push in these pins. Now, usually on floral foam wreaths, that floral foam or that floral foam is actually a little bit harder, and it's harder to push pins through, but it's awesome because the pin won't pop out of it. Now, this mesh, because it's a stiff fabric, it wants to unroll, and because of that, it's pushing the pin out a little bit. Since this is really soft, it's easy to pull it out. So little by little, I was noticing that, the pins were kind of popping out, and I'm sure that given more time, it would pop out a little bit more, and then eventually this could just pop off super easy. The mesh would just fall off. So when I'm pushing this in with the mesh, I'm just going in there and pushing, putting some glue, some hot glue in there to have it stay in place and keep it from popping out. Now, I've allowed a lot of this to dry, and it's keeping these inside. They're not popping out, so I know that that is working. So just letting you know that if you're using these pool foams, these little noodles, you can use these greenery pins, work perfectly fine, but put a little bit of hot glue in there. All right, everyone, so here's where I'm at now, and I've managed to use 20 yards of red mesh, and that looks pretty good. A little bit extra to finish off this part if you want to complete it. So maybe another 5 to 10 yards. And then I've added a little bit of this white one, and I think I had maybe about 5 yards, maybe 6 on this roll. And I've just done a little bit here just to give it a little bit of an accent. So I'm going to use a little bit more on here, but first I'm going to make a bow to go in this center area. So I've got this ribbon. I already had it. I think I got it from the Dollar Tree. This is what it looks like. I'm just grabbing whatever I have in my stash to create this wreath. So I'm just going back and forth looking for things to put in here. And I did find something else, and I'll show you that in a moment. But right now I want to do a big old bow. So I need a chenille stem as well to tie that up. So I'm going to put this over to the side. I'm actually going to cut my chenille stem in half So I need at least 6 inches. All right, so I'm gonna want a tail, and this is 3 yards of ribbon. So I'm just gonna use whatever I have of this roll, the whole thing, okay? 3 yards. I'm gonna start off with maybe 8 to 10 inches of, well, about 8 inches of ribbon. And I have videos on how to do handmade bows, so I'm just gonna do this really quickly. Just make some loops. This is kind of a thin, kind of a not, you know, very thin satiny ribbon. It's not very, you know, stiff. It doesn't have a lot of body to it. It does have the wires, so that does help, but it tends to want to, like, the wires tend to want to, you know, go inward, you know. Once you've unrolled it, you know, you've pulled it out of the spool here. But it is from the Dollar Tree, so it's not the best, although I have found some really good ribbons at the Dollar Tree. So I'm just gonna make as many loops as I can and leave a little bit for another little tail. Twisting, pinching and twisting, making my loops, pinching and twisting, always bringing the pretty side up and out to the outside. Pinching and twisting. Nice bow, and I think that's it right there. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my piece of chenille, and that's my kitty cat, always on time, 4 o'clock. He wants something. Of course, his dinner's not till 5:30, but oh well, I'm gonna give him something in a moment. Okay, so we're gonna just go like that. Now, if I'm not doing a video, he normally doesn't bother me, okay? But as soon as I start talking, he knows I'm alive and I'm in the kitchen. So yeah, that's where I'm working now. Okay, so there's my bow. I'm not gonna bother to poof it up right now, and I'll show you how I'll put it on there. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna make another one with this thinner ribbon, maybe a little bit smaller to put in the middle, or maybe if I can make a couple of them to put on the side. We'll see. I do have quite a bit of ribbon. This ribbon, I may have gotten it from Hobby Lobby. I'm not really sure where I got this from. I've had it maybe a couple of years now. So this is a thinner ribbon, also wired edge. I always recommend wire edge ribbon. All right, so to attach the bow, I'm gonna use one of these greenery pins, and I'm just gonna run it in there underneath the wire there, just like that. And then I can use to pin, and of course I'm gonna use some glue so it doesn't pop out. So I'm gonna put this kind of in the center here. Let me see, let me get these little tails going down. There we go, like that. And I can put it right here. I think that's sort of the center. And then some glue under there to keep it from moving. As soon as it's dry, I'll go ahead and poof up my bow. Don't want to do it right now because then I'll just be moving that and it won't glue down properly. So I'm going to make some smaller little bows, one for each side. And whatever I have of this left over, also add it on there. So I'll be right back with all of that. All right, so I've added the bows, as you can see here, one big one and then 2 smaller ones on each side. And I've used hot glue to attach them as well with the pins. Now, I also added a little bit more of this white mesh. I had some left over, filled in a little bit of the space, a little bit below, just right here, just to kind of lift up these tails so they're not hanging down so far down. And I just poofed it up a little bit. I'll poof it up some more once I get it, you know, where I want to hang it. Like I said, this is going to go for my mother-in-law actually, so she's going to use it on her front door. Now I'm going to use a little bit more items just to fill it in some more, and I've got these mini pine picks that I also grabbed from the Dollar Tree. There's 6 picks in here, and I grabbed a few of these bags that I've used in other projects, and I have about 3 bags left over, so I'm going to use some of these to just fill in. All right, so that is what the picks look like. So, I mean, they've got some wire right here. It's a little long, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off on some of these. And that way I can use this little end of the wire to stick into the styrofoam. So I just put a little bit of glue in order to do that. So I want to put some on each side of the bow here, or the bows, I should say. Just get some in there. I'm going to put about 3 pieces on each side. Kind of fan them out a little bit. Oops, I just dropped my glue gun. just on the side like that, and I'll do the same on this other side. And then I'm going to take extras of these and then just tuck them in here and there on the wreath, just to bring that pine down into the rest of the wreath. And thankfully they're wire, so I can just bend them a little bit so they don't stick out so like straight outward. Just bend them a little bit. And that's what I'm going to do all the way around. Okay, so I'll be back once I've filled it in. And of course, you can fill it in however you like. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've decided to add a couple more right up here by the bow because I felt like it was too bare there with just a white mesh, and I could see right into the styrofoam. So I've added some more there. And then you can see just a few of them around the outside of the wreath. I think it looks super pretty just like that. All right, so I don't know if you can see that, but I've got some snowflakes here that I had left over from another project. I'm gonna go ahead and add them to my wreath here. So I've just put some glue right in the middle here, right in the center, and then I'm just gonna stick it down onto the mesh. Just like that. You see me shaking them around like that. I'm just trying to catch, you know, mesh. So I'm just moving that around. I've got one more, so I just had 5 of them, so I'll put one at the bottom down here. All right, and there we go. All right, so on the back, I want to add something where I can hang it from. So I'm going to use another one of these greenery pins, and right in the middle, right where the bow is on the opposite side, of course, my bow will get a little bit crushed, but like I said, I'll just poof it up again. So this is where the big bow is. So I'm just going to, right in the middle, push this pin, but I'm not going to push it all the way in. I'm going to leave a little bit like that of it sticking out because I want to be able to use that to hook it onto whether it's a little nail or push pin or whatever I decide to use to hang this from, or I could add a little string or some ribbon here, and then I can hang it from that. But that gives me something, it gives me a little hook to grab from to hang it on the wall or the door. All right, everyone, I've decided now to hang up my wreath so that you can see how it looks. And you might notice these little balls right there. Yeah, so I was looking at my box as I was walking by it, to my little supply box where I have all of my Christmas leftovers, little bits and baubles. And I noticed them and I said, you know what? I'm gonna add them on there. Because you know that saying, less is more? Well, for my mother-in-law, I should say, for her, that's not a saying. For her is, hey, more the merrier. So add it on there, and I think she's gonna love it. I really had fun making this. It wasn't all that hard. It just took a little time. And of course, I discovered some little things here and there that makes some good tips for everyone. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm gonna give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and leave a kind comment down below and let me know what you think of this wreath made out of the pool noodles. If you have any tips for all of us that are reading the comments, please go ahead and put that on there. We truly appreciate all the tips, all the ideas. If you see me doing something and you feel like, no, you know what would be better? This would be better. Please, I welcome all of your suggestions. I'm not offended if you didn't like the way I did something. If you have a better idea or a better suggestion, go right ahead and put it on there. Thank you all so much in advance. I've been loving a lot of your comments telling me not only that I did a good job, but you're giving me suggestions and saying, hey, how about this? How about that? Or when you're doing this, you should try that. Etc. This works for me, that worked for me, etc. All right, everyone. I want to thank all of you so very much. And if you're enjoying the content of my videos, please hit that red subscribe button down below and then hit the little bell and choose all so that you get notified of all of my videos as soon as I load them up. Again, thank you for watching, and as always, enjoy.